send Wave because it's easy like sending a text. Send money instantly from your cell phone 24/7 with no fees attached if you download and sign up. Oh shit.
All right, thank you for joining us on the program today. It's still Youdecide live here on AIT on excuse me on Ben TV. I apologize for that. Ben TV is still now on BSkyB channel 458. BSkyB channel 458. And of course, you can still get Ben TV on Freeview. I apologize for my error earlier on. Thank you so much. And my name is Olutunde Alabi. I'm now joined by Iboro Otu. Iboro Otu was a governorship candidate in the election in Akwa Ibom State. Iboro, thank you for joining us on the program today. Also, apart from what we'll be talking about in Akwa Ibom State, we'll also be taking a look at the military's, the president's directives to the military to begin Operation Show Positive ID across Nigeria. What is this operation all about? This is an operation where the military will accost citizens anywhere in Nigeria, on the street, on the motor park, anywhere on your street, probably your house, and ask you to show a positive ID to identify yourself for that reason. But we do know that human rights lawyer Femi Falana went to the court earlier this week to challenge the decision of the military on this matter, saying it's an infringement on his human rights. And of course, the court has said the military should maintain the status quo, meaning that operation should be put on pending determination of the matter. Will the military obey this court order? We don't know, but we're talking about this issue on the show today. Again, let me bring my guest to you, Iboro Otu. Iboro, thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.
Iboro, let's quickly start with Akwa Ibom State. The election seems to have come and gone. Matter seems to have been settled.
No.
No?
No.
Tell us something.
Well, the APC and PDP, they're still struggling in court. But our position, my party's position, and my position is that we've been excluded from the process illegally. You know, we approached the court just like everyone else. The same day the APC submitted their petition, but ours was refused for some illegal reason. And we've tried to get our petition in. We've even gone to court to see how the High Court could compel the Election Petition Tribunal to take our case. But the judges wouldn't sit on the day of the hearing, and they went on vacation. We tried to get our case in vacation courts, the same rigmarole, we were excluded. So now we are forced to approach the International Criminal Court for justice, for my people, for myself, and to promote
But there is an Election Petition Tribunal in Akwa Ibom State. Yes. Are you saying the Election Petition Tribunal did not accept
I have videos on the internet. I have materials you can read. It's been widely covered across from television channels like TVC, Channels TV, and all the rest of them who were with me on the day my petition was refused right there in court for no just reason. And election.
What do you mean refuse? Did the court rule that your petition?
The registrar refused to take the petition, and
did
he has
you submit out of time, or?
Even if we were to be out of time, it is up to the court itself to determine that, not the registrar. The registrar just refused to take it. He wasn't in the premises. We'd call him. He'll say he's not taking it. We have videos to prove this. We have audio material as well. We have the press who were there on the day. It's just as unbelievable as it is to you. That's how it is to me and my party. And the funny thing is we've gone to the High Court to compel the tribunal to take our petition at the time. They refused. The judge did not come to court until they went on vacation. We wrote to the Chief Justice of the Federation to, ask the vacation court to listen to our case. He wrote back to us saying that he wouldn't do it, that we should wait for the courts to return, knowing fully well that when the courts come back from vacation, the tribunal would have ended, which is what happened. So you see the joke that's going on with, democracy in Nigeria and how impossible it is for young people to participate. It's not just about not too young to run. Our case spotlights exactly what happens in Nigerian democracy and how people are excluded. So when you have people like Nnamdi Kanu, for example, or people like Showore, ventilating, using different avenues to showcase their displeasure, you realize really that the system is not accommodating anyone, and my case is an example. So going to the ICC is to bring out an alternative narrative to show our people.
But
and young
ICC
people
does not entertain political matter, does
they
it?
do because, it's called political repression. It's one of the tenets that couches the ICC itself. So if people are politically repressed like it is in my constituency, we have the rights to ventilate our displeasure. But you have to exhaust all legal procedures in your country, which we have. Everything from the beginning to the end, And nothing has happened in the past 6 months. No one has agreed to listen to us, just to even listen. So that's what we have to do, and we're doing it to make sure that certain people are being punished, so that the playground, especially democratically, can be more open and can include more people. Because right now, it's a joke. It's like our democracy is for sale.
Azu, what are your views on this matter?
Yeah, I mean, I do quite
sympathize with him
Mr.
and his party.
Iboro Otu and all those who have been highly marginalized or frustrated or repressed politically, as he said, by those in power, whether it be opposition or whether it be the party in governance. It's not right. Coming from the point of the human right aspect of it, because as a citizen, as a human being, you have a right to be heard, you have a right to be listened, you have a right to file a case that you feel is against your rights of citizenship or rights of participation in any democratic setting or in any political environment. And unfortunately, my friend here is going through such a very challenging moment. Though in a state in Nigeria called Akwa Ibom, I think he has a right to access every avenue that can allow him to express his concern with what is going on in his state and Nigeria as a whole. And as Nigerians in the diaspora, we wish to encourage people to use the right medium, the right process of making their cases or their views known right within their nation state. And if that becomes obvious that they cannot get the kind of result or expectations from their cases, then they need to access the international community in whatever way they can, in a positive way, to see what they can get from the international community to be able to get the domestic community to be able to revise their attitude, their mannerism that is depriving others to get the kind of justice they want in that country. And I believe it's a new dimension, which if and when it gets through the International Court of Justice for Criminal Justice, ICCJ in The Hague, and they are able to put up a rejoinder to Nigeria to I'm not sure they're going to sanction anybody in Nigeria, but at least they're going to put something to get the justice system in Nigeria to work within an international practicable situation where everybody, irrespective of who they are, irrespective of their capacity or their position in the society, whatever be their situation, first hear their situation, and if it's not worth hearing, then we can follow the right procedure to say, we have heard you, but this is what we think that is right or wrong.
Moving forward from that, Iboro, are you saying that you've lost confidence in the judiciary in Nigeria, or that the judiciary in Nigeria is already subsumed under the system in the country?
Yes, I feel our judiciary is being compromised at the moment. I believe that there are certain elements, may not be all everyone, that are actively working to undermine our democracy, and my case is a very typical example of that. I mean, it was shocking to the press people who were with me talking to the election registrar, petition registrar, and he said to them, there is no way you'll go into in Nigeria that anything will be done about this matter. Go to hell. That's why the media people are so angry. And I went to see the petition of the president of the Court of Appeal at the time. She refused to see. It was a lady at the time. We've been trying to push everywhere, and the more we go, the further we go, we realize that, look, that guy at the bottom, he's right. He knows his onions. He knew who sent him not to take the petition. No one has been punished. No court has listened to us. None has entertained us. If we struggle so much and get a date, the judge wouldn't sit. I mean, it's just been one joke after the other. Now, why I'm pushing this angle is because while I was in the race, a lot of young people said, look, Oga, you know, say this vote no go matter. There's no need. People are not engaging because they believe that there is a system that controls the Nigerian system. Now, if the international community can lend support to this alternative narrative you're bringing to the table, it now encourages young people to engage. And you know, they've been doing this top-to-bottom approach where they deal with issues that are national. But with dealing with presidents is a bit far-fetched because the person at the bottom really doesn't care what's happening. But if you deal with come down a step lower or two, maybe with a state governor or a Senate issue, you achieve two things. You inspire the people because people are more connected and know what's happening in their states. And secondly, you make the state and the country, other governors and other people, you know, like sit back and realize that, look, anything that's happening at this level, the world is watching. So we can achieve a lot. I mean, maybe we've been doing this since our democracy and nothing's been happening. The international community should now, you know, turn their approach upside down from bottom to top, looking at the fact that, you know, the world is now globalized. I believe Nigeria can catch up democratically, but we need to get things right, especially with our judiciary. I'm not saying that everyone there is, you know, bad, but I believe that there are a lot of corrupt elements that are working really hard to make sure that they use the technicality loopholes to disrupt our democracy.
Let's, away from Akwa Ibom State, let's quickly look at the just concluded presidential petition tribunal. When the CGN was talking, it said the appeal was reviewed over a period of 2 weeks, and they concluded that the appeal had no substance in it. But the question people are asking was, at what point did the Supreme Court sit? Who were the people that reviewed this appeal over the period of 2 weeks that were not known to Nigeria? What does it say of the judicial system?
Unfortunately, like I said,
Could that actually stand the test of time?
We'll just wait to see, you know. I'm not very... I know that the reasons are not big. They're saying they'll bring it out in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
I don't know how that works. But I believe that, to be honest, the PDP, they had a lot of merits that could have been addressed, or maybe it will be addressed, maybe when they read it out much later. Right from...
Can no longer be addressed because the Supreme Court has spoken and it's final. This is not the case.
I know, but I'll not say never. I don't know. I know the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has, you know, accepted the
of course, if he didn't accept, where would he have gone? Because the Supreme Court has spoken. There's nowhere he can go.
Not because you want to change the outcome, but because you want to spotlight the issue in such a way that like what we are trying to do, for example. I'm not trying to change the outcome of the elections. It's already been done. They're working on it. The tribunal, I think they're in the Court of Appeal. There was an outcome was supposed to happen yesterday, and it's been moved. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when some punitive measures are put in place, when the West, for example, and the world says, you know what, we think what happened there was wrong, and we stop you as a governor from coming to our state, our grants and our support system, we won't give it to you until your government is over, and there's some things that are, some sanctions that are in place. It corrects the future. So it's not just about winning now. It's about putting things in place so that the next election will be free and fair. You see, the unfortunate thing about African politics is that the people steal with family. If you punish a governor and his family, punish a president and his family, a senator and his family, you would have solved half the problem, because they steal with their close family, and they wouldn't want to have the pressure while other people are stealing or causing disruption in the system. So they'll tell their dogs, calm down, we don't want this pressure and spotlighting. That's why we are doing this, not because we want to upturn things, but to put that pressure on there so that people can realize, look, it's not business as usual, and it will help us a lot.
It's not business as usual.
Yes, because I feel that people, we are thinking really within the box. Constitutions were written by people, and in Nigeria we are in a wider system. There's Africa, there's the world. There are so many ways to look at these things. If you're really looking at serving people, there are many ways you can serve people, which is opening more doors for other people not to fall into the same trap you fell into. Elijah Chukwu Abubakar has been caught in a technicality trap and things but there are things that he can do to help subsequent elections, which I believe he would do. I mean, going forward, there's enough time to do so. There's another election coming down the line, but I wouldn't say too much. Well, just we'll wait to see what happens.
Asu, following that decision of the Supreme Court, any chances, any hope for the opposition party? What's the next for them?
Well, I like they say, the Supreme Court is final.
Final.
But it's not fallible. The Supreme Court could make a judgment that
it's
could also be faulted in the future. So the judgment could be final, but could be fallible. Yes. And that is the situation right now. And we know that every decision by the Supreme Court, the only place you can go is to go to God and ask for mercies or forgiveness. And hopefully God will answer Atiku on that when he goes to God for his final judgment. Well, the situation here, like I said before, is a replica of what happened in 2011. Is it 2011 or 2009? Buhari against Yaradua. It's the same situation. It's the same situation because the judges made their judgment and said they will give a written statement about their judgment on a later date. And what happened? Some of the judges that did that judgment in 2007, is it 2000? It's 2007, 2007 election. Some of those judges who made that judgment for a later date statement are benefiting from this government now. One of them is a high commissioner here. The other one is ambassador of Nigeria to America. So you have some similar thing now happening when obvious facts are given, and then you review a case.
2011.
2011, is it? Obvious facts were given, and you review the case and said there's no facts, there's no evidence in this matter, we cannot take it on further, we throw it out. And then you said you will give a written statement of your whatever they call it, your view or whatever on the case on a later date without fixing a date, which means that later date could be after 2013, 2023, could be 2022, could be a few days before the next election. It's not a fixed reference for anybody to look at. So it's a repetition of what happened at Yaradua Buhari's Supreme Court judgment. So we have to be careful. Our judges are not helping the matters. Our judiciaries are not helping matters in Nigeria. We have to move forward. The judges should help. Judges are the justice. The judiciary is the arbiter. Is the arbiter of justice and hope for everyone in Nigeria, not just for the common man, for everyone. For everyone, even though they said is the arbiter to the common man, because the common man has no money to fight his case. So the judge have to look at the situation of the common man and give fair justice, so that the common man can have a fair consideration of the judgment. You understand? But right now, it's not the case. And I still want to say it. I know that Abubakar Atiku does not have anywhere else to go, but the only way he has to go is to become vocal. Vocal in terms of opposition, positive, aggressive opposition of the present-day governance. We cannot have an opposition. Even though you have lost the Supreme Court matter, doesn't mean that you have lost your position as an opposition party in the governance. By now, the opposition party should have what do you call a cabinet. What do you call it?
Shadow.
A shadow cabinet. Yeah. The opposition should have a shadow cabinet. They should be appointing people that you oversee what is happening in the Ministry of Works. You point to oversee what is happening in the Ministry of Finance. Check mate what this minister is doing. Is it right? You shadow the minister for aviation. You shadow the minister of information. So that at the end of the day, you have your meetings where they review cases of what is happening around the ministerial system, what is happening around the parastatals, what is happening around the governance as a whole, and then you checkmate every situation by making an opposition, or you appease or praise whatever effort that has been done by the government that is good for the society, and what is not working for the society by the government, you attack it positively. When you attack, it's like what is happening in this country. When Corbyn speaks, people say, what is your alternative? If you say the government is not doing something about NHS, what is your alternative about the NHS? If you don't have it, then stop talking. The PDP in Nigeria should be able to say, my friend, this financial policy or this social policy that you are putting forward to Nigeria, the president is in UK signing a bill. How can you be running a government from a foreign land, and the opposition is sleeping and looking? A bill is signed in the UK and returned to Nigeria to be operated in Nigeria, and the opposition didn't wake up enough to say, why is the president, why don't we have a vice president? Don't we have a system that allows the vice president to act on behalf of the president when he's away for a period of time and some certain issues are done by the vice president? Why is the vice president overlooked? And the document of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is flown 6,000 miles away to a country for the president to sign and return 6,000 miles away back to Nigeria for it to be operated upon. And your opposition is sleeping, and they didn't wake up to the reality of their job. Their job is to checkmate. The job of an opposition in any country is to checkmate the governance of the party in government. Okay. And if that is not the case, then the opposition should just write themselves off, and then let's look for the next coming party. If there's a third party in Nigeria, they should write the opposition.
Let me take this call. Ade is waiting on Ade, thank you for joining us on the program today. Now we're looking at, after the Supreme Court judgment, what is the next for opposition party in Nigeria. Thank you, Ade, for joining us on the program. And also, our other guests in the studio, Iboro Otu, spoke about some of the challenges having his matter heard by the Election Pension Tribunal in Akwa Ibom State. Ade.
Yeah, my take is this, they talk about what Atiku can do. The man was VP for 8 years. He is the part of the problem. So, like I earlier said during President talk, I said politicians are the cause of problems we're having. So when they do these things, it backfire. If when he was there, if he has done something, we wouldn't have the same what we're discussing today. But when they are in power, they are carried away. So when they are out of seat, then you start observing them talking all kind of stuff. They are not anything matter. So in respect of this, sorry, like as we rightly say, that in the case of Yaradua and Buhari, they made the final verdict and they said to send the outcome of their decision to the person challenging the election. Okay, now what we should ask ourselves is, what are the National Assembly doing? Can they change this stuff? So I don't know why we have over almost 500 legislators and things are not in order. So I do believe that, like Mr. said, he said PDP has merit. But if you dissect and check what has happened in that election, let's start with the server. You brought someone from Kenya, for God's sake, a foreigner interfering in our election, and we say that has merit. And when that guy was scrutinized in the court, tell us about the server? He told us in a website. Come on, is that merit? They call one of the witnesses, I've forgotten what they call it, the top witness or whatever. What is this guy from Anambra State? He came to court with, he's in the situation on the PDP or Wanata office, collecting information from how many local governments, 700 plus local governments. And you think that has merit. So the petition of the PDP is flawed already. So then there's no judge that will come and judge a case based on ARC. Your witness could, okay, they brought guys that told us that they are from INEC. They said they know that the server. They asked you of the code of the server.
Decision has been made. There's no point going over this decision. What we're saying now, following the Supreme Court decision is gone. That's history. Way forward, what should be the role of the opposition party now? What is the next thing for the opposition party or even the government in power? Now, the victory is sweet in battle. Yes. So what should both the government and the opposition do moving Nigeria forward? Now, let's not go over the case any longer.
Today, if you are talking, we that are outside, you can't hear you. You only hear us, can't hear you. I can't hear you because...
Oh, okay, all right, okay, you cannot hear me. Sorry about that. Okay, thank you, Adi, for being part of the program today. Now, Iboro, let me come to you. Now, let's look at national issue. Like I asked Adi, the Supreme Court has given its decision. Good and fair. Moving forward as a country, what should, in your view, both the government and the opposition party should be doing in the best interest of the country now?
Yes, I believe, like Mr. Azu said, the opposition should really engage and, if possible, have this kind of shadow government system where they can checkmate and, hold the government accountable. But also there's a large pool of people, especially young people, that are not very active politically, in which people like us tap into as an alternative political platform. We are doing our best as well to engage them as well, and engage Nigeria and engage the government, knowing that elections don't end. We're having another one in 2023. So I believe in going forward like it is in every country, as it is happening here in the UK. There's always this vibrant relationship driven by the people. So I'm encouraging Nigerians not just to give up hope. I mean, I know there's a lot going on right now. We have a lot of security issues. I mean, the judiciary is not helping, for example. Our senators are not helping either. Everyone is, our legislators.
The National Assembly.
The National Assembly. Our electoral laws should be looked into critically. All those technical loopholes should be blocked. You know what happened with Adeleke and so many other elections, even what's happening with us. The main thing is I don't want to see the situation that happened to me happening again in the next elections, because we want a lot of young people who are capable to take on office to come forward. And it's issues like this that, easily discourage a lot of people. But then the international community has a role to play. I love what's happening in Cameroon. It can happen in Nigeria. They need to look a bit lower. State governments as well. You can stop them from access to grants and loans if you find them wanting, just as the federal government as well. So the international community has a lot of role to play. I mean, me being here in the UK in the first place is to see if I can cut such a relationship and get our story heard, so that we can inspire a new generation of young politicians to come up and understand that, look, if the Nigerian judicial system is not engaging you, you can have justice elsewhere. So ultimately, we want to see Nigeria move forward. We want to see development, prosperity, inclusive prosperity across board. And I believe the more we engage the system, the more the system would engage us. So I believe going forward, someone like Atiku Abubakar, some other players as well should, find a way working together to make sure the opposition is strong and vibrant.
Making sure that the opposition is strong and vibrant. You can see, join us on the program to be part of the discussion on the way forward for the opposition party and the government in the aftermath of the Supreme Court ruling that threw out the petition, the appeal of the Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and PDP in the just concluded 2019 general elections in Nigeria. What do you think? What do you think should be the position of the opposition party now? Moving forward, what do you think the opposition party should be doing now? Moving forward, victory is sweet in Baru. What do you think the government should be doing? These are issues we are taking a look at on the show today. Azu, going forward for the government in the country, there was the electoral bill presented to the president prior to the 2019 election, which the president did not sign, but promised that after the election he will be signing it because he claimed it was too late at the time. Do you think the National Assembly should represent this bill, or further work on this bill to block more loopholes and present it to the president again for his assent?
Well, I think...
or we should just roll with the existing electoral act?
well, I think the electoral bill, as amended, needs to be put forward. Even though that bill, if it had been signed before the election, would have affected the way the election
substantially
would have gone.
Substantially would have.
The president wouldn't have been back provisionally. But then, I think the earlier, because politicians uses every opportunities that can help them remain in office or maintain their status quo in office to do whatever justice they want for themselves. So the earlier that bill is put forward or sent back to the president to sign into law, the better. Because the more they keep pretending that it is not there, then they are also working towards how that favors their position come 2023, which is not good enough for the ordinary Nigerians, like my friend here, who are coming up. Because those who are in the system, you see, you cannot beat a system until you are in that system. And once you are in that system, understand that system, is either you now work together to change that system for the good of all, or you remain as the system keeps you in that same system, in that cocoon, forever. So the issue now is the civil society, those concerned within Nigeria, should continue to clamor and agitate for that bill to come up. Because the moment everybody remains silent on it, the National Assembly will pretend as if that bill is dead. And then suddenly when somebody now finds out that there is something in that bill that will help him or her get into power or remain in power, they now invoke that bill to come up at 2022 or even 3 months to the election in 2023. Then you see people now running around, oh, we need that bill signed. Then the president will now get to know whoever wants to use that bill to get into power will now get the president to sign the bill or get the president not to sign the bill, so that because the president has a stake in whoever is going to be the president and candidate or elected candidate. So it's all about politics of that bill. It's all about who is that bill going to favor in 2023. And that is the game they are playing. And if the moment we continue, somebody should record this. 2022, remind me, if this bill has not been signed by now, by next year, and by 2021-22 is still being under some hidden places, then you know that the same logic is going to play out. Then somebody will now go and evoke that bill, because now he feels that something in that bill, if he wants to contest, will affect him. Or if he wants to contest, will favor him. Then they will now find a way to get Mr. President to sign that bill. Because one, Mr. President has nothing to lose. 2023, he's no more in government. Except he wants to go for third term, which I think he's not thinking about now. Well, if so, then that bill has to be signed by 2020. By 2020, that electoral bill has to be signed by 2020, so that people wanting to contest election in 2023 will have ample time to prepare under the condition of that new bill. The INEC team will be prepared to undertake the procedures of conducting an election by 2023 under the new bill. Not 6 months before election, INEC is now working under a new bill that is being signed by the president, or 8 months to the election. That is very bad way of running a democratic system. So we need to start now to clamor the media, the civil society, public opinion pullers, on TV, on radio, remind the people handling that bill, please, can we get this electoral bill to the president to sign it early, so that people contesting or willing to contest or agitating to contest or aspiring to contest in 2023 will start working within that bill as a law.
All right. Azu, Gossin, Axel, thank you for being part of the program today. Iboru,
thank you so much.
Moving forward, what's the next stage for you?
Yes, we are here building our team to approach the International Criminal Court. We've gone really far. Like I said, the hope is that we get our case in there so that we spotlight this Akwa Ibom issue that is a Nigerian issue and an African problem. It's not just particular to my state, all across many states and across Africa. Democracy is being played like football and is for the highest bidder. The hope is that when we get that done, one, we will get to have some kind of punitive measures against certain individuals that are partaking in this illegal game, and secondly, encourage a very large number of young politicians that want to engage to come forward, knowing that there will be a system, an alternative system that will take them on in case things go unfavorably. Not as bad losers, but getting their rights heard.
All right, Ibor Otu governorship candidate Akwa Ibom 2019 under the political party of the ARP? ANRP in Nigeria. Thank you for ANRP. Thank you for joining us on the program today. We'll go on a very short break, and after this, we'll be back. Do not go away. The program is still You Decide here on Ben TV.